Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. We are looking here at the first full patch for the set revival. This is set 4.5 comeback. I have been playing pretty much exclusively set 4 since this came out. I don't know if I've done even one game of set 13 since the set release, because set 13 is, I don't know, it just has felt kind of boring to me. I've been having more fun with the revival. In any case, though, we're going to be looking at another version of a Fabled comp. It's not going to be dramatically different from the other Fabled version that I did, but I figured, you know what, let's go ahead and do this again. I enjoy playing this comp. We'll go ahead and build it. It'll be pretty interesting. You also see me remembering, if you watched the previous video I did, you might have remembered that the video flickered out a couple different times because apparently one of the Riot patches under the hood set the client back to full screen instead of borderless mode, so I'll go ahead and fix that. But the main reason why I wanted to play this is I have this Nico that pops up immediately on the first minion round of the game. So I was thinking, you know what, it seems like a good time to play a Fabled game. And we're really going to be focusing on the defensive side of things in this game. The idea behind these Fabled comps is Nico is the carry, and this is really a one-threat comp, which is kind of the only unit that deals damage on one of these boards, but you rely on Nico to be the carry, and then you just build tons and tons of tanks and utility units, and it's actually pretty funny building a board like that. So anyway, I was thinking, what do I play here? I was like, you know what? Actually, you know what? Let's just take this Garen Chosen. I would much prefer if this were a Vanguard Chosen. It is not. It is a Warlord Chosen, which is much worse because Warlord is a really bad trait here in the set revival. But it'll still give us plenty of frontline, and hopefully I can just run with this Garen up for like the stage 2 and maybe stage 3 for a little while, long enough for me to get a Nico Chosen, and I'll be looking for that, I think, on level 7. So the Garen's good enough for the early game, and that's that. Oh, also, by the way, the other thing I was thinking about was playing Cultist. I was like, you know, maybe I could play a Cultist, because they did have 3 Cultist champs. I think I had the Elise, and I had a Pike, and I had, what was the other one I had? I had another Cultist champ, and I was like, yeah, but you know, I'm probably not going to get a Cultist emblem. And then what happens? Well, there's the Cultist emblem, and I was like, you know, you really don't want to play Cultist unless you can get an emblem on it, and even Cultist 9 is not that great, but it would be fun to try to go for the Cultist 11 at some point in time. In order to get that, though, you actually need a Cultist Chosen, and you need 2 emblems. So normally it's not really viable to go for that unless you'd have one of those starts where it's like you get the training dummy and it has multiple emblems on it, and like there's a Cultist emblem on there already, and then you can try to find like a +1 to Cultist from either an augment or from a spatula or something. But otherwise it's really not possible because you also have to be level 10. Like in order to play Cultist 11, you have to have 2 emblems, a Cultist Chosen, and be level 10. Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible, but it's pretty unlikely to have happen. But yeah, so ultimately I don't go that direction. I'm going to stick with the Nico, but I do wonder if I could have done something with Cultist. I just don't think it's especially strong here in the set revival. All right, so we've got our Nico on the board. Nico is going to toss out her Pop Blossom, which is going to hit 3 times. I guess I'll just read the official ability description because I have it right here and cover this. Here is her ability. Wait, come on, pop up. I've got it on my phone here. For some reason, it doesn't want to pop up. There we go. Okay, Nico. Yeah, Blooming Burst. Throw a seed at a random target. Explodes for magic damage 3 times. Each explosion affects a bigger area than the last. And if you have her Fabled trait in, then the 3rd explosion deals 150% bonus damage. And of course, we'll be trying to get Fabled in, but that won't happen until later in this game. Fabled is a unique trait that has only been around here in set 4.5, not even in set 4, only in set 4.5, and it plays through exactly 3 units, Nico, Nautilus, and Cho'Gath. If you have all 3 of them on the board, you activate Fabled. Otherwise, Fabled does not do anything. And each of the Fabled units gets like a bonus part of their ability. That's something that's been in other sets. Like if you do this, then you get a bonus effect on an ability. But Fabled has not come back in any other sets since this one. Although Faded wasn't in set, what was it, set 11, wasn't that different. It was kind of similar in a lot of respects. But Fabled itself has not come back. So anyway, there's the Nautilus. I'm happy to grab that, but of course I do need to find a Cho'Gath before I can actually put Fabled in play, and Cho's a 4-cost unit, so he's probably not going to show up for some time. Alrighty, so as I said, we're looking to play through Nico. We're going to build Nico for damage, and then we're going to put lots and lots of other tank and utility units around her. And this is a comp that was playable in the initial version of the set revival, and it's still very playable here in the like the first patch of the set revival. If anything, it's probably a little bit better here, just because it didn't really get affected by the patch that they put out, whereas some of the other comps did. I mean, the one that was super broken was Spirit Sharpshooters. It actually got some pretty heavy nerfs, but you know what? It's actually still one of the best comps, even after getting heavy nerfs. Sivir 3-star is the unit that I featured in the last video I put on YouTube, and Sivir 3-star, they cut the 3-star AD bonus. It was 350% in the version that I put in that video, and that got nerfed down to 200%. So basically the old 3-star Sivir, or the old 2-star Sivir, is now the 3-star Sivir. Yeah, basically now you have to 3-star the unit to get where the 2-star unit was before. And you know what's funny? It's still one of the strongest comps. It's still one of the strongest ones. For whatever reason, Spirit was not nerfed in this patch, even though Spirit, I've mentioned this in a bunch of the other videos I've done on the set revival, Spirit was identified as being broken immediately at the start of the set, and that has not changed at all. It is still probably the most overpowered trait, because I'm looking at one of the reference guides. I think this is TFT Academy. I just have them up for like info I can look up while I'm recording this video. And guess what the top tier comps are on TFT Academy? Yeah, top tier comps are Spirit Sharpshooters, Spirit Assassins, and Spirit Zed. Yeah, so that's maybe not especially balanced. So it's like 3 variations of very similar comps. You have a Spirit comp that plays through Sharpshooters, a Spirit comp that plays through Assassins, and a Spirit comp that plays through Zed. Yep, maybe that trait should have been nerfed because it was really strong in the previous patch, but it was completely untouched. The developers clearly don't care that much about this set revival, which is a bit disappointing, but it is what it is, and you just have to live with it. Now, I guess I should also mention a little bit about the augment that I took. The one that I have is, I can't remember the exact name for it. It's in the current set as well, not just the set revival. But it means that whenever units stand next to a unit that is a higher cost, they gain, I think it's like 200 health and 18% attack speed. So if a 1-cost stands next to a 2-cost unit, the 1-cost unit gets the attack speed. So currently, Nico can't get that bonus because I have, she's the only 3-cost unit on the board, so she can give the bonus to anyone else, but no one else can give the bonus to her. So it tends to favor boards if you're playing, I don't know, boards that are not based around 5 costs, because you can never give the bonus to a 5-cost unit. And if you're going to play 4 costs, you need to have a 5-cost to give the benefit to them. I also do get another Nico here. That's pretty nice, so I'll take that. But for right now, I'm just looking to grab any Vanguard units I would see, any Mystic units I would see, and then, of course, any of the Fabled units. So that's really what this board is. It's a Vanguard, Mystic, Fabled board. And, of course, Vanguard and Mystic are defensive traits. Vanguard trait gives the Vanguard units additional armor and magic resistance. It gives them primarily armor. They do get a small amount of magic resistance, too. And then the Mystic trait gives the entire team magic resistance. So the Vanguard units get extremely tanky with this build. You get lots and lots of armor from Vanguard, and then the team-wide Mystic magic resistance. And then you have Fabled in, so Nico can actually deal damage. Anyway, overall, that was a pretty good stage 2. I'm a little disappointed I lost that round. You might have noticed the round I lost before. What was I up against? Oh, Spirit Sharpshooters. Yeah, okay. I was up against Spirit Sharpshooters. Yeah, okay. Another Spirit board. The amount of damage that the Spirit puts out once the Spirit gets wound up is just insane. Again, Spirit trait is when Spirit units cast for the first time, they give a team-wide attack bonus. If you have 2 of them in, they give the whole team 18% attack speed when they each cast. But it's 4 Spirit that's broken. Each of these Spirit units gives the team 30% attack speed. That's when they cast for the first time. So if you have 4 Spirit units in, they each cast 30% times 4, 120%. Pretty broken. So, yeah. And that's why all the top comps still play through Spirit to one degree or another. This is actually a rare board that doesn't play through Spirit. So we're going to do our best to build a board that can try to win the lobby and is not playing the Spirit trait. So hooray for us. We're actually trying to be a little bit of a rebel here. Anyway, the other thing that happened is we are in a lobby where the encounter is going to give us gold. So you might see gold dropping periodically. And that was from the initial encounter, which I think is the Wukong encounter, but I'm not exactly sure. Now, the items that dropped there were not exactly what I was looking for. I got kind of like partial items that I want. Nico has very specific itemization, and the items that she absolutely must have are a Spear of Shojin. That's what causes her to cast more often. She will not have enough mana generation without that. And then she absolutely, absolutely must have a Gunblade for her other items. If she does not have those two items, she simply does not work. Those items are completely mandatory. So I was able to make the Spear of Shojin, and I have half of a Gunblade, but I'm going to need another rod for that. And then her third item, a Jeweled Gauntlet, is usually her best item, just because it allows the damage to crit, and that's really strong, especially if she gets a crit on the third caster, the third burst of her ultimate, the one that's already empowered to deal 150% damage. If that one goes crit, then it can do just like 1,000 plus damage to a big area of effect. So Jeweled Gauntlet tends to be her best item, but you can also do like Archangel Staff if you want. You can even do Quicksilver Sash, although the problem with QSS is even though that's really good, she doesn't really do enough damage if she doesn't have that. So I think Jeweled Gauntlet's probably her best, but you can certainly do other things as well. Now, our second augment comes up as Prismatic, and I don't really like most of these. I do like Piercing Lotus, but I was like, but you know, I really need rods quite badly. If I take the rods here, 1 overflow gain, 5 needlessly large rods, I'll actually get extra attack speed, and I actually have multiple items I want to make with these rods here, because remember, I want to make a Gunblade. I also want to make a Jeweled Gauntlet, and then this gives me the items for that too. And then the other rods are also not wasted because I can put them on my utility units. By the way, I'm already up to 4 Nikos. I'm having good luck hitting the Nikos. I did a previous video where I played this board and I had horrendous luck finding Nico, but I still managed to win the lobby anyway. I'm doing a little bit better in this particular one. So the reason why other rods are good is I can go ahead and make a death cap, and that's actually very, very good on utility units. By the way, this person's level 7. They already have a Azir, and they already have a Ornn on their board. I have no idea how they managed to hit these units. Apparently they went level 7 on 3-2 and rolled all the way down to 0 gold. It's like super duper aggressive there. But they've also killed their economy, so they kind of have to win streak. Yeah, they found Asol and Ornn, and what was the last one they found? They also found Azir. Of course, Nico's about to kill that board anyway, but yeah, okay. I mean, good for them. But if that roll down hadn't hit all those 5 costs, they'd just be dead in the water right now. So I really do not endorse doing that in terms of play style. Also might have won that round if I hadn't been so bunched up. But this is always the problem when you're playing here in the set revival is there's so many assassin boards. You have to bunch up to beat the assassin boards. And then if you do bunch up and you hit non-assassin boards, you can get crowd controlled really easily. Like Azir's Sand Soldiers just wreck you really badly when you crowd up like that, which is what happened. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and level because it doesn't cost much gold to do so. Even though I'm not on a win streak, I do want to get the higher shot odds. I'm actually going to move out of the Garen Chosen relatively soon. So yeah, looks like it was a good idea I boxed up against this board because this board is playing Zed. And if I was just in like standard positioning, I just die instantly against this board. Kind of glad that they took assassins out of the game in the more recent sets because it's just like it's not fun. It's just a guessing game. It's like, oh, did I hit the assassin? Well, if I corner for the assassin, then I lose to standard boards. But if I just guess wrong about who I'm up against, then I lose to the assassins. Anyway, it's just like a rock, paper, scissors, and it's just dumb luck. Also, by the way, that person's on 0 gold, so I do not endorse rolling down to 0 gold on level 5 like that. It'll make you stronger in the short run, but it really, really kills your economy. Even if you're trying to 3-star 1 and 2 cost units, you do much better by slow rolling than going all in like that. Only do that if you're about to die, and it's early enough in the game that doesn't make any sense. All right, so we've got another carousel here. I am last pick. I've only lost 2 rounds thus far. Haven't been able to go on any long winning streaks, but I'm reasonably pleased with this. I think the thing I want right now is mostly tank items would probably be best here. So I could have taken the belt, which is probably the item I most want, because I'm going to get lots of armor and magic resistance from the Vanguard and Mystic traits. What I really need is more health. So it would have been really good to go ahead and take a belt there, just so it could be like half of a Warmog's, or alternately it could be a Sunfire Cape. But I pass on that because I have the opportunity to get an Aatrox, and Aatrox is a 4-cost Vanguard unit, so I'm happy to go ahead and take that. That does 2 things for me. On the one hand, it lets me play 4 Vanguard, and by the way, I sold the Garen Chosen, so I can start seeing Chosen in each shop. So anyway, it lets me play 4 Vanguard, which is nice. I'll go ahead and put my defensive items on the Garen for the moment. And the other thing it lets me do is it puts in place that I think the augment's called mentoring, but I could be wrong on that. It puts in place the health bonus and attack speed bonus by having Aatrox stand next to Nico. Remember, I need a 4-cost unit to activate that bonus on Nico. So by having Aatrox stand next to Nico, we activate that bonus. And so Nico gets the extra. It's more important for the attack speed for her because she's a backline unit. But the extra health isn't bad. I mean, 200 extra health is not the worst thing in the world. So that's the other reason why I did that. And then I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this extra bow, because I really did not want a bow, but I did want that Aatrox. And I think it was worthwhile to take that just to get the early Aatrox. As it turns out, I'm not going to see Aatrox again for a very long time, so I'm glad I was able to grab him. And now I'm trying to reposition so I can get more of this bonus on other units. There we go. Okay, now the other thing I did want to mention is I made that death cap before, and I kind of got sidetracked on the point of why I wanted a death cap, or why it's not bad to have on this board. And the biggest reason why is that it's very good on utility units. So take a unit like Janna or Yuumi. Janna shields, Yuumi heals. That's pretty much all they do. They don't really do any damage. They are just utility units, and TFT doesn't really have these anymore, but they did back in set 4. By the way, look at how clumped this team is. They're going to get punished very, very badly. But it's a Spirit Sharpshooter board, so can I beat the board? Nope. Never mind. Still lost anyway. Yep, Spirit Sharpshooters, yeah. Although I do think I can outscale that board in time. So Janna shields and Yuumi heals. Well, putting an item like a Jeweled Gauntlet is not going to help them because heals can't crit and shields can't crit. By the way, I put Yuumi on the board for 1 round, and now I'm going to put Janna back on the board because she's a 2-star unit. So their ability can't crit, so like a Jeweled Gauntlet is not very good on them, but heals and shields do get increased by pure ability power. And what does Death Cap do? It's the item that gives you the most ability power in the game. So this will make the shields and heals, whichever unit I put these on, much better than they would be otherwise. Also, by the way, look what we're going to get here. We get a big orb that has a spatula, and it has a Reforger in it. And then we get another prismatic orb here. It's like, oh my god, which gives us just a ridiculous amount of gold here. So I was like, oh, okay. So I know what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to reforge the spatula into a frying pan, and I know that I can make a Vanguard emblem. And this is really good for my board because the Mystic board, or this board gets much, much stronger when you can put a Vanguard emblem in play. Long term, I want that to go on Cho, but of course we have to find a Cho. Cho makes a fantastic Vanguard unit. For now, we're going to put it on Janna because if we can find one more Vanguard unit, then I'll be able to play 6 Vanguard, which would be super nice. And now I'm on level 7, and we're just going to... I do find the Braum, so that's partly what I'm looking for. But then I also find a Sejuani, which is nice as well. Now I just need to find that Nico Chosen, just like I did the last time I played this board. You got to get to this level and then find this. I'm also going to go ahead and take some of my leftover items. I'm going to make Ionic Spark. Very good item to put on here. All our damage is magic, and we're going to be hitting frontline a lot because, by the way, there's a Sivir Sharpshooter Chosen, but it's not what I need this game. There's another Nico. I actually have to 5 Nico, so if I find find the Chosen and find one more, I'll have 3-star Nico. But anyway, Ionic Spark, really good because it's going to allow us to get the whatchamacallit. It's going to allow us to get the magic resistance shred on front lines. And I'll go ahead and take Piercing Lotus because it's going to mean that we get more armor shred when we critically strike. Actually does have synergy with the Jeweled Gauntlet. All right, so now we're going to put the Sedge on the board. And what is it? Yeah, this allows me to play 6 Vanguard by taking out the Yuumi and putting the Sedge on the board. All right, and we'll put the Aatrox up on the front line. I'm going to Thief's Glove one of these. I'll put it on the Aatrox for right now. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm doing these things slowly, this is a game that I was playing with our infant son Charlie on my lap. So a lot of slow rolling here. As you can see, I'm using the reroll button, which I basically never do, but that's because I only have one hand free as I'm playing this game. I have a sleeping 2.5-month-old baby on my chest as I'm playing this. I wish I had visual of that. That would make for the video to be more amusing, but yeah. And then I have 2 bows. I really have very little I can do with a bow, so I'm just going to go ahead and make a red buff here. That's going to give me a healing debuff, which I do not have. Not that Janna is great at applying this, but I mean, it gives me at least a healing debuff. And the other thing that it does is it means that whoever's holding this will just get a lot of attack speed so they can get their casts off more often. I don't mind having these on. You can see Janna's actually shielding for a tremendous amount in this fight. I would have won this fight easily, but my poor Nico died at the very start of the fight. And like that happened 2 rounds in a row. And that's just, again, because I was up against 2 assassin boards. I was not clumped in the corner. And if I'm not clumped in the corner, I just instantly lose the rounds. Again, it's kind of dumb, but that's just the way it works. I had to spend that time rolling. I didn't have enough time to do positioning. I'm not a pro TFT player. It takes me time to do this. And as I mentioned, I was doing this all one-handed too. You could also make the. By the way, there's Yumi chosen. It's like, can we just find the Nico chosen? Come on, can we just find the? All right, there we go. There's the Nico chosen. All right, and the good news is it's the stronger of the 2 versions as well. It is the Mystic version, which is much better because the Fabled version. If I had the Fabled version, I could cut one of the Fabled units. I mean, I guess I'd cut Cho, but like I don't even want to cut Cho from the board. I want to play Cho. When you have Cho on a 3 Fabled board, it means that his knockup hits the entire board. It's kind of like the Victor stun in the current set, where Victor will raise everybody up in the air. Also, by the way, this round's hilarious. There's a there's an Aurelian Soul in the back corner, but Nico decides that's where she's going to throw her first ult, so Aurelian Soul just dies instantly and doesn't even get a cast off. Also, look at this 3-star Annie up there. It looks like she's got a locket, and that locket, she's just healing with that locket, but the good news is Nico can pick off backline. So she's killed the entire backline, and now it's just us hitting this Annie, who is apparently getting health every single time she ults, and like we just can't damage her. But in overtime, healing is reduced, damage is increased. I think in overtime we killed this unit, but yeah, that's pretty funny. Nico did 21,000 damage in that fight, so okay. Yeah, that board's pretty well put together, but they do have one flaw, is there's no healing on the Veigar. The Veigar needs a Gunblade or like a Hand of Justice or something. Their Veigar does not have any healing, and that's a pretty big mistake. All right, time for another carousel. We basically achieved everything that we wanted to do here. Now, by getting the 3-star Nico, now what we need to do is we need to get to level 8, and we need to find Cho. Because on level 8, we can play the exact same board we're playing right now, but we can put Cho on the board. We can move the Vanguard emblem from Janna, who's just item holding it right now, move that over to Cho, and then Cho will put Fabled in play. And we'll have 6 Vanguard, 3 Mystic, which will be pretty nice. I do also favor playing the Janna over, and we can play the Braum over the Wukong. That's probably a little bit better, honestly. Braum's a pretty good tank. But I'll hold on to the Yuumi because I might want to play Yuumi if I can't find Cho. And if nothing else, I could always play Yuumi on level 9 if I can't find Zilean. But you can see this board's very, very straightforward. We're playing 6 Vanguard, 3 Mystic, and then we'll put in Fabled as soon as we can find Cho. And I'm also just going to box up in the corner because I thought I might be up against an Assassin's board. I'm actually not this round, but I could have been. I think 2 of the 3 teams I could have been up against were Assassins. And this team is super clumped. This is another Spirit Sharpshooters board, so boom, boom, boom. There's that 3rd cast from Nico, and as soon as she casts, yeah, you really cannot clump up against Nico. If you clump up against her, you just die. And again, it's another one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, if I'm up against an assassin board, I have to be in a clump. But if I'm not up against an assassin board and I hit Nico instead, Nico just kills everything. It's pretty frustrating. It's not great. It's not what you want. So like this Warlord board, and oh, by the way, this person's 9 Warlords, so you'd probably think that they're going to be strong, but no, they're not. Warlord is really, really weak here in the set revival. And there's another board here that's the Zed board. I know I insta-lose if I don't box up against the Zed board, so even though it's only 1 out of 3 odds to hit Zed, I'm just going to box in the corner anyway. Because if I don't, I just insta-lose the fight, and that's frustrating. I might as well at least try to win this board. And no, it turns out it is the Zed board anyway, after all. 3-star Zed, 3-star Diana. This is a Spirit, just Spirit plus Zed. Basically, this board, you 3-star Zed, and play 4 Spirit units. And that's pretty much the whole board. It's incredibly easy to play. This person has the 3 key Zed items: Rageblade, Quicksilver Sash, Edge of Night. You always want those exact 3 items on the Zed. They actually have a Radiant Rageblade, which honestly, I don't know if they had they have a Masterwork upgrade. I actually think that's the wrong item to pick. I don't think you need a Radiant Rageblade. I actually think it's much better to upgrade the Quicksilver Sash or the Edge of Night. Probably the Quicksilver Sash, because that ensures that Zed can never be crowd controlled the entire fight. Whereas the normal QSS does time out after like 20 seconds. So I would not have picked the Rageblade. I think that's the wrong item to upgrade. But it certainly makes Zed strong for right now. Still, nonetheless, we are able to win that round, which I was very happy to see. And yeah, we're just going to continue econing here and see if we can make it up to level 8. And then, as I said, find Cho'Gath. But so far, it's been going really well. So 6 Vanguard, I guess I might as well talk about these traits. Yeah, 6 Vanguard, 450 armor, 60 magic resistance. Now, that is not team-wide. That only applies to the Vanguards, but it does make them very, very tanky. 450 armor, 450 armor, 60 magic resistance. And then Mystic is the same thing, but it's a team-wide magic resistance bonus. All right, so let's go ahead and level. We can put Yumi on the board for now, but then we need to ultimately find the Cho, so that's really what we're looking for here. There's another Aatrox, that's good. Oh, there's Cho. Okay, excellent. So something has to come off the board, and I accidentally make a mistake. I sell the Braum when it was actually the Yumi that needed to come off the board. I was like, whoops. So I actually end up at 5 Vanguard, 4 Mystic here, which is a mistake that I really shouldn't have made. And then we have another leftover item here, and I was like, you know what? I actually want more magic resistance shred. I want to do a what's it called? A static shiv as well. So that gives me 2 forms of magic resistance shred, and then I also have piercing lotus as well. So you could say I'm like overloaded on the MR shred, but I actually don't think so. Nico's the only one that deals damage on my board, and like I cannot afford to have her hitting targets that are very, very heavy on magic resistance. So I actually think it's perfectly fine. And like Nico's targeting is random. I don't think that there's anything that causes her to target a particular unit, because like sometimes she throws at a big clump and sometimes she just throws at one isolated unit. So I never have a clue where she's going to be casting. Therefore, I think it's just better to MR shred as much of the enemy board as possible with an Ionic Spark and with the Static Shiv. So yeah, then at this point I was like, oh yeah, I actually need to get one of these. I actually need to put Wukong back on the board. I'm glad I held on to that unit. So the plan is to take Wukong out and Garen out. I want to play better units. I especially want to play Ornn on this board. I would love to get an early Ornn, because then he can start forging artifact items for me. But I need to actually find him for that to be the case. And then I'm trying to position units so they're all getting that, I think it's called mentorship bonus. Yeah, that one person who's playing the Mages comp actually got that. Remember, got that super early Ornn on, what was it, was it 4-1 or 3-1? They got an extremely early Ornn. They actually forged quite a few strong items back there. Nico also manages to get pulled by their Aatrox, but boom, down goes the Aurelion Soul. Now we just need to kill the Veigar, and there we go. Down goes the Veigar, down goes the Azir. Now it's just that Annie that is almost completely unkillable, but also the Annie does no damage, so eventually at the end of overtime, we're basically guaranteed to win this, because Nico keeps healing. Remember, she's got a Gunblade. She heals herself, and she heals the lowest health ally, so like Annie can never kill us. We just have to wait for overtime to run through so we can actually kill this unit. Nico did 32,000 damage in that fight. Oh man, 32,000 damage. Okay, so that's fun. Anyway, there's a Cho. I wouldn't mind getting some items on Cho, by the way. If I could get like a Morello's to put on Cho. Remember, his ability hits the entire board. That would be pretty nice to have. I just would like to get Cho 2-starred, because he's going to have a, you know, he's getting all that armor and magic resistance from Vanguard trait and the team-wide Mystic trait. So he's going to be really, really tanky, and he actually does a decent amount of damage as well, if you can put some items on him. Like, I guess I could technically put the death cap on him. That would be pretty funny, but I don't know if he does. His mana cost is very, very high. I think his mana cost is 100 something. Hold on, I'll just look it up because I'm curious. He doesn't cast much, but he does hit the entire board when he casts, because I have Fabled trait in. What is his mana cost? Okay, 180. Yeah, that's a long time, but he stuns the entire board for 2.5 seconds when he casts. So he usually only gets off 1 cast per fight. But, you know, you put a Morello's on him, hit the entire board, and, you know, cut their healing and give them that burn effect over time. That's, yeah, like there's actually a Cho with the Morello's. I was like, oh my god, I would love to get this. I'll just take this, and Cho will have the Morello's, and it's actually Cho 2-star as well. That would be fantastic. So I'm going to try to grab this, but I am last pick. I've been last pick on every carousel, and it gets snapped up. I was like, ah. Well, that's disappointing. So out of these options, I'm going to go for the Archangel Staff, because I stall out fights, but no, that gets grabbed too. So the only item that's even marginally useful here is the Gunblade. So I will take that, because I have no use for Infinity Edge or Runan's Hurricane. And the only person I can realistically put this on is the Cho, because he actually does heal for a decent amount of damage when he gets this, because he does hit the whole board and do a decent amount of damage. And then I decided, you know what, I'll just level to level 9. And I'm not going to roll on level 9, but I am going to level to level 9, because that lets me put Yumi on the board, who's just sitting here. And then after the minion round, I can decide if I want to slow roll on level, slow roll here on level 9, or I could even potentially look to go to level 10. if I want to, but we'll just have to see what happens. And there's enough assassin boards here that I'm going to box up, and I'm largely going to be boxing up for most of these rounds, because if I'm up against one of the assassin boards, then I'm going to take, 15 damage instantly if I'm not boxed up. So anyway, here we go. Here's the Zed board. And this is the person who has the Radiant Rageblade Zed. So a lot of what happens in these fights is pretty random. It comes down to like where Nico targets her ability, because like if she ignores Zed, Zed can easily kill our whole team. But this time she actually focuses Zed really, really well. So we actually win that round easily. And all right, they're out of their lobby. So goodbye. Don't have to worry about that board anymore. Like I said, they really should have put a slightly different item on the Zed. And oh, anyway, there's Zilean. Okay, so now I'm going to move these items that Janna's been holding over to Zilean, because I want Zilean to get off multiple casts here. So ideally, he'll get off 2 or 3 casts in the fight if I can keep him safe. And we'll play the Yuumi over the Zilean. I probably should move Zilean into the corner right there, just because I think he'll be a little bit safer. But yeah, the goal is for Zilean to get off multiple heals, multiple his revives. With the Death Cap, his revives will bring people back at like a disgusting amount of health. Looks like we've got the Warlord board. Again, this is a Warlord 9 board. You would think this board would be pretty strong, but Warlord trade is just really, really bad, unfortunately. All right, Zilean got 1 cast off. Boy, his mana bar is quite large. Can he get a second? He didn't manage to get a second cast off. That's a bit disappointing, but at least he did get the 1 cast off on this board. Yeah, I mean, you can see everything dies pretty quickly. Unfortunately, Tryndamere is not an especially great unit, and yeah, Warlord trait just, I don't know. Doesn't seem to be it in this set. I wish they would just buff it. There's also some speculation that Warlord's actually bugged and it's not doing what it's supposed to do, and that may be the case as well, because like a Warlord 9 board should not have been that weak, but there's a reason why I'm not playing it. It just always feels really weak. All right, so let's see how much gold we get here. Again, it's not inconceivable that I could look to go to level 10 here, because if I go to level 10, I can put that Janna back on the board, and then I'll have 6 Vanguard, 5 Mystic. Again, 6 Vanguard, just as a quick refresher. I know I said this earlier in the video, but the 6 Vanguard is 450 armor and 60 magic resistance. And then the 5 Mystic is 250 magic resistance. Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, that's an awful lot. So anyway, let's see what we get here. We're going to get another gold drop, and we get another 12 gold there. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go level 10. Why not? Let's just play another unit. And then I also see there's a Spear of Shojin as an option here. So maybe I should have done the Shojin. I don't know. I took the defensive item, and having the redemption is actually a really good tank item. But maybe I should have just taken the Shojin and put it on Zilean. That would have gotten Zilean casting a lot faster, like a lot faster here. Well, maybe if I'd done this again, I would have taken the Shojin. Oh, I thought I went to level 10 here. I guess I did not go to level 10. I guess I waited one more round and then went to level 10. Unfortunately, this is another assassin board. Yeah, there were multiple people playing Zed in this lobby. By the way, really good Aatrox ult, pulled in a bunch of people from the enemy team. Yeah, Zilean really should have put that. Should have gotten that. Should have gotten that Shojin for Zilean. Okay, I mean he did get off multiple casts, but took him too long to get off that second cast. Getting off that second cast is a big deal. And did we knock them out? 1 HP. 1 HP. Okay. Well, they are level 80 gold, so that's good. But they are on 1 HP. Would have liked to have gotten them out of the lobby. Let's go ahead and level right here. So now I can put the Janna back on the board. There we go. And there we go. 6 Vanguard, 4 Mystic. And then now I just want to try to 2-star my board. I still have 1-star Aatrox, 1-star Sejuani. I still haven't found Ornn yet. So I definitely can do that. I'm also want a position to try to get more value. By the way, I've seen enough Jannas. I probably could have had Janna 3-star. In this game. I also now need to shift my tank items over to Aatrox, but I don't think I have quite enough time to do that in this round, and I'm still not really boxed up quite enough here. You might notice I have 3 units standing next to Zilean. Zilean is giving the mentorship bonus to all 3 of those units, giving it to, what is it, to Cho, to Sejuani, to Aatrox, or not, to Nico and Aatrox and Sejuani. I think all of them were getting the benefit. Anyway, here's the Mages board. Again, I mentioned Mages just not good in the set revival. I really, really wish they'd buff this comp so it's playable, but it's still really not. Still, this might be a playable comp because that Annie is so ridiculously strong, but the Veigar has no healing, which is just such a mistake. If the Veigar had healing on his ability, maybe it would be enough. Possibly not. Like, the Veigar doesn't need that much. They're actually overloaded on damage there. Veigar can one-shot almost any of the units he's up against, but yeah, he doesn't have any healing on him, so... not quite what you're looking for. Anyway, I've actually won 10 rounds in a row, so I was pretty confident that this lobby was just about done at this point. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll move the items over to Aatrox, because I did 2-star the Aatrox, and we'll put all our tank items on him, put him up on the front lines, And then I can move the Thief's Glove over to the Nautilus, just putting my actual tank items on a better unit. All right, there's Sedge. And there, all right, there's Sedge 2 stars. So now I can move my Thief's Glove over to her. Do I get time to pull that off? Okay, yes, we do. There we go. Nautilus, if I don't 3-star him, he's not that amazing. So we'll go with that. And yeah, now I'm up against the Zed board as well. Although I believe this is a ghost round here. I'm actually not positioned correctly for this round, because I was not fully boxed up. Still, a lot of what happens just depends on whether we focus down the Zed or not, because the Zed's the main carry on this board, and Nico can kind of throw her ult wherever, as I've already explained. By the way, another great Aatrox ult, pulling the Diana right off of the Nico, and it looks like we're going to win this. It looks like we've got this this fight. Yeah, looks like my whole team won that. So there's just one person left with 1 HP, and I won 11 rounds in a row, so I was really thinking that this was going to be over pretty quickly here. All right, and there's another Thief's Glove here as well, so I was like, great, another Thief's Glove, let's go. Can put Thief's Gloves on all of my 2-star Vanguards, and I'm level 10 to their level 8, so like, again, really felt like this should have been over pretty quickly here. Because like my board is definitely a lot stronger than their board, but let's see. Now I'm still looking for, by the way, I'm still looking for an Ornn. I still don't even have an Ornn yet. And I'd like to hit 2-star, what is it, 2-star Zillion if possible. And because I know I'm up against an assassin board, we're going to box up here in the corner. So, all right, there's a 2-star Cho. Excellent. And can we find an Azir? There's another Cho, but there's not enough time left to 3-star any of these units. So that seems kind of pointless. So we'll see what we can do there. And yeah, look at the 480 armor, 340 magic resistance. Now that's on a Wukong who has no items. Look at Cho, 555 armor. So like we should be countering this board really, really heavily. Again, we have insane amounts of armor and magic resistance, and this team does mostly physical damage. I guess Teemo does some magic damage, the Diana does some magic damage, but we're mostly physical damage on this board. So you would think that we hard counter this board like really, really heavily. But wait, what? Okay, so I got absolutely shredded in that fight, and actually it was Samira who did the most damage. It's like, all right. That was probably just like weird RNG. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but we'll just, we'll just try again. Now, the sad thing is the Samira does cause a lot of problems for me, because remember, I have to bunch up so that I'm defended against these assassins. But the problem is by bunching up, that means Samira can do an awful lot of damage when she ults. And I was like trying to figure out how I could position here. I'm not sure that there's any obvious way to do this other than just getting my carry units, although Zillion should probably be, like the Zillion and the Nico should probably be in the back corner where they're less likely to get targeted. But I still did think that like I would probably win this fight. That was the hope anyway. But this board has hit quite a few. Now they're only level 8, but they have 3-starred almost all of their units, so that's pretty nice. And oh, that was unfortunate. Samira's ult instantly kills my Nico. Yeah, that's bad fight RNG to be sure. Again, there's only so much you can do in these rounds, but Samira jumped right on top of Nico, and then got a full channel ult off, and Nico dies. Remember, I am a 1-threat comp. If Nico dies, we ain't winning the fight if that happens. Also, I realize I should pick up this Nautilus, so I will lock for that. Might seem a little bit silly. The odds of hitting 2 more Nautiluses are pretty low, but like, what else do I really have the gold to spend on anyway? I just need 1 more Zillion, and then I need to try to find Ornn. There's clearly not enough time left in this game for me to 3-star any 4 costs or something like that. Like, I'm just not remotely close. I would have had to have stayed on level 9 and slowed rolled on level 9, but that did not seem likely to happen. I didn't even think the game was going to last that much longer. So I guess arrogant me, but I was winning most of these rounds until I guess they hit some of their 3-star 3 costs. Like, they now have 3-star Teemo, and I think they have 3-star Kindred over there. So they finally hit some of their 3 stars. All right, we got a ton of gold again, and the gold is actually bad for me because it's going to give that other person more time to hit units, because like I'm not really going to find that much, but at least I do get Ornn. So let's get like Wukong off the board. And then can we find more Ornns? All right, can we hit Ornn 2-star? That would certainly be nice. Again, I maybe could have gone for a 3-star 4 cost, but like I needed to start earlier. All right, we do hit 2-star Zillion. That's certainly nice. And then, all right, now I'm finally going to take the Spear of Shojin. Probably should have taken this earlier, but again, we'll do the Death Cap. We'll do the Shojin, Static Shiv. And then we want the red buff on somebody. We'll put the Static Shiv on Janna for lack of someone better to put it on. All right, now surely this fight's going to go better, because now we have the 2-star. We have the 2-star Zillion. Zillion, okay, did not get a second cast off, unfortunately. Unfortunately, put the Chrono Shift on Janna instead of someone more important like the Nico. But still, this fight's pretty close. Another good Aatrox. Oh, we just need to focus the Zed. If we can just hit Zed, I think we can win this fight. Come on, Nico, can you just hit Zed? Again, Zed manages to kill her. You know, that rapid fire cannon on the Zed is really, really strong. Yeah, really strong. But still, I still thought that my board could be winning these fights, but that I just was not getting the right fight RNG over and over and over again. Like, we're just not focusing the Zed, but I still thought I could beat the Zed. By the way, there is Ornn, so I'm going to sell the Nautiluses to buy the 2-star Ornn, because this is definitely the last round of the game. If there is one good thing that's... but now I'm trying to find the Nautilus. I can move the Thief Glove from Nautilus to Ornn. It's kind of hard to see because I have so many units grouped up here. And all right, there we go. So I'll move this over to the Ornn. That's, well, not very good items on Ornn, but that's still better. But like, one thing that happened by me winning all those rounds earlier is I did buy myself enough, like, and I did have enough health that I just get multiple tries at this fight. So like, it really is like we're just playing a slot machine here in terms of how the fights play out. But like, because I preserve so much health, I get more pulls of the slot machine. Anyway, my Sejuani gets off a great ult that stuns almost the whole board, and then Cho's gonna knock up almost the whole board. Now, can we just hit the stupid Zed? So over there on the left-hand side, can we just hit the stupid Zed? Can somebody please hit this unit for me? Oh, we got a stun on him. His QSS timed out. Sedge got a stun. Boom, there we go. And like, this fight wasn't even close. Look at this fight. I have like 8 units alive. Yeah, what the heck? So I lose the previous 3 rounds, and then that round I win with my entire team alive. What the... It's one of the issues here with the set revival is these fights often are very RNG focused. Like, you can sometimes lose, and then the next round you just win crushingly, and you're like, huh? It feels like it's a little bit too much luck determined. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this. It was fun to build another huge stall comp and play through Nico. Until next time, hope you guys are having a great week. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.